talk about. So for kindergarten, and as I go through this, other things that will apply, you maybe jot in those spaces. Our essential question, and you're all aware of what essential questions are, you've probably dealt with that very question. How can we use overlapping to show space, is what they were working on. And then our theme, which was a social studies theme, was community helpers. Okay, so I had my little community helper, and I had a big policeman also, and a big fireman. And then my concept, which is on my sheet up in the front here, is space and movement, and then I'm teaching the word overlap. Today, what they have done this week is they have drawn a policeman. So this is one of our policemen. Got a couple more I'll show you in a second. After the policeman, I guided him in this. Drawing. After the policeman was drawn, and they drew the policeman, I guided him in drawing a police dog that was behind the policeman. So we do what we call it, we draw our top line, and then we stop, and we hop across, and we draw the rest of it. So the concept I'm trying to get them to see is that things can be behind, because you know what a kindergartner will do, they'll just go right through the legs, with their drawing. I mean, they're cute and all, but you're trying to teach them how to, and here's one, a couple more. This would be one that's a struggling kindergartner with concepts. They're still working. You see this little figure down here of a dog that's more that basic shape when they first start. But here's one that's a little bit stronger with details and all. They're kind of cute, aren't they? Now we're gonna take those, and then we're gonna be going over with marker, and then we're gonna be painting these. So when I get to the end of this very thing in the back, we'll place all the pictures up front where it says critique. And then what I'll do is I'm going to ask a question: does your dog look like it is behind your community helper? And I'll go through a response of thumbs up, thumbs down, because this stuff has to be done kind of quickly. We don't have a lot of time. And then I have more questions. Does your policeman overlap your dog, or does your dog overlap your policeman? Trying to get them to, because conceptually they don't get these things, they don't understand it. And which one is in the background? So in my critiquing, I try to get to utilize the word, and I'll try to get them to use the words that I'm talking about. Whatever grade level it is, we will incorporate those words. So that's just one way, in kind of a corporate, everybody participating at the same time, raising their thumbs, or I'll take hands on that. I was trying to think now, other ways that I will do this same kind of thing of evaluating. My 4th grade class is doing, not that group, it's actually the STEM group. This one's still kind of wet, but they're not finished, but they are making recycling posters. Now, the way that we're going to go about having them sort of be critiqued is they're not going to critique their own. They're in teams, they're doing a recycling poster, and then we are going to have a focus group, which is going to be a 2nd grade, and we're going to put the posters up in front of the 2nd grade, and all the 2nd graders are going to vote on which of their posters gets the message across. The concept that we were dealing with was advertising with them, and how they have their target audience is going to be students, kids. How can they catch their attention? How can they get their message across? So we're going to kind of use a real world situation where whichever one the kids like the best. I told that group they would all get an E for just that portion of it. The rest of them I'll grade. I said you can still get an E. You can still get a good grade on the project, but we're going to do it and see which ones they pick. So it gives them a focus, and it gives them a direction, and then they have, it sort of like puts it in a context, a contest setting to make it a little bit more interesting. Another way that we kind of do some critiquing is, I've got, again, I don't know why I'm focused so much on kindergarten, but this is kindergarten also. One group has just finished up coil pots. And for their critique, because the whole thing about the coil pots that we talked about was sealing it inside and learning how to put the coils together properly and get a proper seal. So when these came out of the kiln, I took them all over the sink, and they were very excited about this because this was the water test. And I filled each of them with water. And if theirs held water, then I gave each of them a mark on there in my grade book that said, this pot held water. And if they didn't hold water, I didn't really mark them down so much, but I just indicated theirs didn't hold water. Well, that was very exciting for them to see that if after they created a pot, whether it could meet that standard, and then they all got to participate in watching it. And that was a lot of fun for them as well.